Niger State Governor Bago has declared a state of war against persistent bandit attacks, announcing his administration will not negotiate with criminals or pay ransom, as he believes paying ransom turns kidnapping into a business venture. Instead, he has called on residents to take up arms and defend themselves and their property. The announcement was made by the governor's special advisor on print media, Aisha Wakaso, following the governor's condolence visit to the recently attacked local government areas of the state, eliciting reactions. And I'll take some posts on X. This person wrote, Governor Bago, this statement is an admission of failure, not leadership. You are shielded by the full power of the state, the police, the army, the DSS, and civil defense, yet you tell helpless citizens to defend themselves. Your duty is to protect them, not abandon them. If the government can't guarantee the safety of its people, then it has forfeited its moral right to lead. Do the honorable thing, fix the system, or step aside for someone who will. Tolu wrote, well, every ransom paid fuels a parallel economy for criminals. By refusing to negotiate, the government is cutting off their business model. Now it's on them to actually combat and arrest the bandits. This is it. I mean, the huge conversation about whether or not we should be permitted to arm ourselves or carry guns has been a debate for a while. I mean, in the United States where it's allowed, we've seen, I wouldn't say that's the reason for the killings, but what are your thoughts with what Bago has stated now about
There's so many different dimensions, yes. I mean, gosh, the first is that he's not the first leader to call for self-help. However, we need to be careful about this narrative around self-help, because when we see self-help happen, we've seen so many instances. For example, there was a group of vigilantes in Edo State. Remember those hunters that were killed? There are several groups that come up and call themselves self-styled vigilantes, and there have been several skirmishes and instances that have happened, and lives have been lost. So I think we need to be very careful in telling people to help themselves in instances of insecurity, because it can go horribly wrong. Having said that, we do know that collecting payment of ransom is illegal in Nigeria. But if we are saying it is illegal, then what is the support we are giving to our citizens to ensure that if these instances happen, that citizens are retrieved alive and in a good state? So first of all, if the kidnapping is said to be happening, then what are we doing to be able to recover and protect our people? But beyond that, the kidnapping should not even be happening. So how are the states being secured? We've said it several times that the governors are not helpless. Fine, they don't have the federal might to be able to discharge officers to the various areas, but what they do have, and I know we often take it lightly, but we can't underplay the role of non-kinetic strategies. For example, we just saw the story you took of Daniel Bola engaging in conversation, deepening engagement and conversation with various stakeholders in the state. I think a lot of that needs to happen, because beyond the narrative of terrorism, banditry, we know that there's a lot of communal clashes and communal conflicts that's happening as well. However, beyond that, I think Farmer Bago, who we love so much, and the rest of the governors of Nigeria need to start getting more creative with regards to how they're going to deal with insecurity in their states. Yesterday, we saw them at the NEC meeting talking about police reform and reform in police training and so forth. But we're not seeing enough pressure with regards to state police, because it seems this is where the conversation needs to go. However, each time it's brought to the agenda, for some strange reason, it's pushed to the back burner. Oh yes, people are worried that governors will become mini emperors and all of that. But at this juncture that we've reached, I think it's far more important for us to protect lives and property first, and then figure out how to strengthen our institutions to ensure that we don't create some form of mini authoritarianism through the creation of state police.
Did you mention the situation in Edo State where there was a young girl who was kidnapped as well? Did you just say that?
No, I mentioned that group of self-proclaimed vigilantes who had killed the hunters at the beginning of the year.
I believe that Bago has said that he's going to, initiate about, I believe, 10,000, security personnel criminal, and that's a measure that he wants to take. But, you know, speaking about insecurity, it's just becoming, and I wanted to mention the Edo State situation because there's a video of the mother who is still pleading for the release of her daughter. And I just wanted to highlight that I am following up on that story, and I believe that the security forces are also doing their best to try to get her out of the really sad situation in Edo State.
Real quickly, I disagree with Farmer Bago.
Yes.
What he said
about arms, like
yes,
taking up
what
arms.
he says is in contravention of the Constitution.
Yes.
Section 14, subsection 2 says the state must provide security for those that have donated their sovereign to the states. It is the state's responsibility. If you say people should arm themselves, then you are abdicating the role of the sovereignty. So please, the state should do their work. That's why we pay taxes, and that's why we do everything we can to submit our sovereignty to the states.
Many have argued that is another form of chaos if we all have to
it's anarchy, honestly.
I'm American, so you know it's kind of
America has laws, you know, and that's why we always emphasize respect for the rule of law at all levels, because in a nation where we're still struggling with that, it'll be very difficult to legislate on that. I don't think we're ready for that. And even with their laws, look at everything going wrong with gun violence. As strong as their laws are, look at that. Nigeria is not ready.
Gun violence in the United States. You're right.